Blonsky, how old are you? 45?
I know.
It takes a toll, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So you'll get out of the trenches. You should be a colonel by now. That's very quick.
Nah, I'm fighting. I'll be one for as long as I can. Yeah, if I could tell you what I know now, what everybody I had 10 years ago, that would be something way more fun.
I could probably arrange something like that.
Alright, Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shem Yahushai Barakatam to the hopefully elect. Alright, so I played this video clip from the movie The Incredible Hulk. You know, the scene where, you know, the general was discussing with I believe his name is Blonsky. Alright. Pretty much, you know, talking about how, because basically as you get older and you become more wiser, oftentimes we joke about how, put what we know now and mixing it with our younger selves, we pretty much we'd be a force to reckon with, and that, like I said, that's pretty much the scene I played from this clip from the movie. And basically, because you had the general pretty much tell him that, I can pretty much, do something like that. All right. And basically, all right. Because what inspired me to do this video and come on, these people don't know how to drive. But basically, what inspired me to do this video was a clip that I saw from one of the elders that I watch, one of the pages, and I'm gonna play a clip from that video. But basically, the topic going into super soldiers, all right, and also, because I came across this article, and I'm sure some of the elders that I've watched have already went into this, but and I'm not gonna get into the article just for the simple fact that this is another one of those videos that. I gotta kind of brush through quickly because as I've been stating recently, for whatever reason, some of the videos I try to do, I gotta do them 2, 3, 4 times. For whatever reason, it just stops recording. So I'm gonna try to go through this fairly quickly. But yeah, I'm not gonna read this article, but the title here says France says it's developing bionic super soldiers because everyone else is doing it. All right. And this is basically one of those things like like with the nukes, all right, when America established itself as basically the superpower of the earth, all right, because they had those nukes, they had those atom bombs, right, and that established them as the superpower of the earth. But now everyone has them, so now everyone. And this is why, nations are, pretty much gearing up for war, because now everyone has them now. And this is another one of those things, some nations are developing super soldiers, and it's one of those things. If one person doesn't, now everyone has to, get their hands involved. All right. But again, pretty much because in this article, all right, as well as other stuff that I've been watching, I've been going over, all right, because the talk lately, there's been some talk dealing with a lot of these soldiers, all right, they getting into combat, and they see a lot of things and go through a lot of trauma and things of that nature. A lot of them are coming back with men's limbs missing, and they're all messed up in the head and whatnot, and they're trying to work on a solution for that. And this article kind of touches in on it. Because basically, you know, again, they want to build bigger and better soldiers, you know, soldiers that are with enhanced abilities, all right? You know, so they won't be, you know, for one thing, all messed up, you know, when during war and after, during combat and when, you know, when they come back, you know. And the way that they plan on doing that is through implantable devices, all right? Again, you know, this article touches in on it a little bit, but that's, you know, what they're talking about. You know, they're planning to pretty much, because when this RFID microchip, all right, because that's what, you know, that's when it talks about, this article talks about those implantable devices, all right, that's what it's talking about, all right, the RFID chip, and you know, once they start coming out with these things, this is pretty much going to be presented in a way that's going to pretty much be the solution to all problems, all right. You saw they're going to present this in a way that this chip is going to be the answer to, you know, to everyone's problems, everyone's issues, all right. But again, you know, because, you know, they're talking about microchipping soldiers, all right, giving them enhanced abilities, all right. They won't be able to feel certain emotions and feelings and things of that nature, all right. And this is the talk, all right. And other places are, you know, coming up with technologies to do these things, right? And hopefully I'll leave you know, I remember to leave the link to that article in case you want to check it out. But also I want to play some more clips. Like I said, what inspired me to do this video was one of the elders that I watched. And I'll just play a little bit.
You actually did it.
Hollywood science fiction often depicts the soldiers of the future, with all the talk of a space force from Donald Trump and fighting robots across the silver screen. Our imagination has plenty of places to go. Now, on the surface, a new grant from the Pentagon for extramural biomedical research and development doesn't sound so bad. The object is to create soldiers who can withstand even the harshest circumstances. Take a listen.
Develop technologies to maximize the physiological performance of SOF operators, including enhanced endurance, enhanced senses, tolerance to environmental extremes, and enhanced overall fitness in order to maintain operational posture ability in high-stress scenarios without noticeable augmentation and without hampering personnel mobility. Additionally, the ability to accelerate the effects of sleep through methods requiring less time.
If you thought mutant soldiers with unstoppable physical and mental powers were nothing more than science fiction, then brace yourselves for what I am about to tell you. In a chilling op-ed, the US Intel chief has warned that China could be breeding genetically modified soldiers. You heard that right. The Chinese regime could be creating mutant soldiers. This possibility has been raised by John Ratcliffe, a former Republican congressman and the director of national intelligence under the Trump administration. Ratcliffe has released an exhaustive report labeling China as the biggest threat to democracy and freedom since the Second World War. He says Beijing is bent on global domination and is giving increasing importance to biotechnology in its military strategy in order to achieve its ambitions. He has warned that Chinese authorities have been conducting human tests on members of the People's Liberation.
And yeah, you know, because there's been a lot of talk about China, because China is trying to basically, like America at one point, China is trying to be pretty much the next superpower of the earth. So that's why, like with because now China is, if I'm not mistaken, I saw something about how China's they're already trying to roll out with 6G, all right. You know, but basically they always seem to be ahead of the curve with a lot of things, you know, and it seems like America's trying to catch up. All right, because again, you know, basically China is trying to be the next superpower, like America was at one point. So, you know, there's a lot of accusations with China concerning these super soldiers, and this is why, again, like I said, you know, with one thing, someone's doing it, you know, everyone's going to want to get their hands on it. You know, like with these super soldiers, one place is doing it, now everyone else, you know, wants to get involved in it, like France. You know, everyone has their hands involved in it. All right. You know, because they don't want to be, you know, basically like a city without walls, man. You know, they you know, you got to have what everyone else has, or you'll pretty much be an easy target, basically. You know, sit and duck. And if you watch the rest of this video, like I said, Lord's will remember to put the link in this video, link to this channel. If you watch the rest of this video, it's basically going into spiritual powers that the men of the Lord are going to get, because ultimately, yeah, they control the narrative, right? With these super soldiers, you know, like I said, you know, they talk about how they want to enhance soldiers, you know, make them fit and better for combat and things of that nature. But ultimately, it comes down to, because they know that the elites, they know very soon, in the very near future, so-called black men, Hispanic and Native American Indian men are going to receive spiritual power. They know this. All right. And this is why, you know, they become so advanced with their technology. All right. Because, you know, and it's like, because the scriptures talk about the war in heaven. All right. Which actually I have that. But let me not jump ahead of myself, because I also want to play this clip. I'm just going to play the beginning, because this is something they want to work on. This is something that they want to bring to intuition. So let me play this. Bear with me. Come on now. Oh, this thing doesn't want to play. Let's do the screen. Let me see if I can yeah, that's Satan. See if I can play it on. No, it's not gonna play, but basically, all right. No, it's not gonna. That's nothing but Satan. But basically, man, you see the title. Hopefully, the title speaks for itself. All right, the title says T-800 approved. Pentagon is working on digital.
Pentagon's working on a chilling project for robots to not only do the fighting itself, but also to act as digital generals, controlling life or death decisions then, potentially. Sensors will link air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace forces, making a split-second choice if they have to over who and where to shoot. The system's dubbed the Joint All-Domain Command and Control, or GADC-2, and it's soon planned to do the job of even senior military staff. But it's a huge worry, huge concerns over excluding humans from decisions, especially if that technology fails. We put the whole issue of removing people from key military positions up for debate.
Almost on a daily basis.
War is really a simple.
So again, basically, they want to have AI, artificial intelligent robots, all right, and replace to you know, on a battlefield, basically, all right, because basically, again, you know, they want to have like real life RoboCops out here. They want to have like real life Terminators, real life T-800s out here, all right. you know, roaming and patrolling the streets and things of that nature. You know, and again, as well as super soldiers. All right, they want to have drones controlled by artificial intelligence. All right. So again, you know, this is why the Lord allowed, and you can see why we're going to need the spiritual power. Hopefully, you can see why we're going to more and more we're going to need spiritual power, because, you know, time in and time out, man, the elders, all right, you know, they constantly go into how, you know, our fight, man, it's not spiritual. Salakia. Slip of the tongue. Our fight is not physical. All right. Our fight is a spiritual fight. Because you got a lot of jakes that, you know, talk about, you know, buying up guns and, you know, going about things the carnal way. All right. And that's not going to do us any justice. All right. No matter how many guns you buy, all right, you rack up, Esau has bigger and better guns. All right. And that's the blessing that the Lord gave him. So we can't combat that on a carnal level. You know, in the scriptures, man, the Lord referred to us as worms. All right. Why? Because, you know, a worm, you know, if you know the characteristic of a worm is powerless. It's defenseless. It has no defense mechanism. All right. It's just open and out there for, you know, any and everything to, you know, attack it. It can't protect itself whatsoever. And that's how we are concerning Esau. All right. Because they have all this technology. They have all these weapons, advanced weapons. All right. Stuff that we've never seen before. Stuff that we can't even fathom. And these things are going to be let loose on the children of Israel when all hell breaks loose. And it's all said and done out here. So to balance that, because the Lord is about balance, all right, this is why when you go to Isaiah 59 and 19, Isaiah 59 and 19, it says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, all right, because again, once martial law, you know, once they come through with martial law, and his military troops are patrolling the streets, all right, and, you know, they come through with that great insurrection, all right, you know, when they bring the hammer, man, all right, they're not coming lightly. All right, they're gonna be on a basically like a whole nother level concerning their technology and the weapons that they've got. All right, drones that can track you from thousands of feet, miles in the air. They can track you and pinpoint you. You know, facial recognition, all that stuff, man. They have stuff that, you know, we can't fathom. You know, the ectoskeleton suits, these super soldiers with ectoskeleton suits. All right, soldiers that don't feel no pain. All that stuff, man. All right. So again, you know, it only makes sense why Yahweh Shemel Shah would have to lift up that standard, because when you read on, it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. And when you go into that word standard, all right, it goes into spiritual power. All right. And this is why the Lord is going to have to, you know, give certain men spiritual power, because again, concerning going head to head with Esau, with the technology and the weaponry that he's got, we can't match it. So this is why the Lord's going to have to, you know, lift up that standard. And again, you know, certain brothers are going to be given spiritual power to combat Esau and what he's got. You know, and again, Esau knows this. They know certain men are going to get spiritual power, and, you know, and they're going to put that to the test. You know, when you go here to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and I think it's 17. Slack, bear with me. Because, you know, being that we are the children of Israel, all right, you know, being that we are the children of Israel, and it's written that, you we're going to receive spiritual power. All right. Let me just go ahead and get to the I'm going to read verse 16. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 2:16. It says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. All right. So basically, because it's written that, at the end of all this, once Yahushua comes down and delivers the elect, we were going to come out of those chariots with these, with the indestructible bodies. All right, we're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. All right. So that's basically, what it's talking about. Because here again in the middle part it says he pronounces the end of the just. Who's the just? It's talking about the saints. All right. The just to be blessed. All right. We're going to receive that salvation. We're going to receive that glory at the end of all this. All right. And reading on it says, and he maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. So you see, again, us being that we are the chosen, we're the children of the Most High power. All right. The elites, they're going to put that to the test. All right. And again, this is why they're mounting up. There talks about these super soldiers. All right. With enhanced abilities. All right. And as well as other technology and things that we've never seen before. All right. As far-fetched of an idea as it may sound. All right. This stuff, man, it's going to be a reality soon. All right, because you teach these things, man. A lot of people, man, they this is why the scriptures, it talks about how we're counted as fools for Yahushua's sake. For this doctrine that we preach, so-called black men receiving spiritual power. All right, Esau's got technology and weapons that they can see through walls, man. They got curving bullets and all type of stuff, man. This, like I said, it may sound crazy as it may sound. All right. This is going to be reality soon. All right. So yeah, because Esau may paint the picture that, he may paint the picture as if he doesn't believe, but they're well aware of these things. And like I said, they know in the very near future, at some point, so-called black, Hispanic, and African Canadian men are going to receive spiritual power, and they're going to put that to the test. So, like I said, this is why they're, building up the arsenal. They got the technology, and they're getting moving things in place. They keep sending these little space rocket ships in outer space. All right, and me personally, I believe they're putting the finishing touches on them. Whatever weapons, whatever they've got up there. Because like I mentioned earlier, the scriptures talk about the war in heaven. When Yahushua comes down with the angels, all right, they're going to put up I'm not even going to say they're going to put up a fight, but they're going to try to attempt to fight. All right, it's going to be a miserable fight. It's going to be an unfair fight, but nevertheless, all right, the Lord's going to put it in their minds to fight. But nevertheless, they're getting ready for these things. They know that Yahushua, eventually at some point, Yahushua is going to show up with the angels. All right. They know this, and they're, this is what they're getting ready for. This is what they're gearing up for, because, they put their trust in science, as the scriptures say. They put their trust in their technology. All right. But nevertheless, before we get to the point where we're changing the twinkling of an eye, all right, you are going to have certain men on this side, receive spiritual power and perform incredible acts, doing incredible things. All right. And this is the standard I just read in Isaiah 59:19. This is that standard that's going to be lifted. Psalms 18:32, it says, it is the Most High that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken in mine arms. All right. Because if you know about King David and how he was, the Lord gave him spiritual power, basically. All right. When you look at the mighty works that King David did, all right, leaping over great high walls. All right. I can only imagine how swiftly and majestically King David was, he was, because the scriptures talk about how he slew tens of thousands of people, man. All right. I can only imagine how just quick and agile he was. All right. And with all that being said, with the incredible things that King David was able to do, he acknowledged the Lord, because ultimately it's going to be the Lord to, just like King David tapped into Slakia. It's just like the Heavenly Father tapped into King David's mind and, pretty much gave him the ability to do what he did, just the same way he did with King David. The Lord is going to do with his men. When you go to Psalms 31 and 24, it says, "Be of good courage." All right, and the scriptures constantly talk about, just being of good courage, having faith, because again, ultimately this thing is based off faith. All right. And this is why the scriptures constantly reiterate, basically not to fret. Because again, it's going to get to a point where, these martial law troops, once Esau comes down and he brings a hammer, all right, it's not going to look good, man. All right. But what we got to understand is it has to be that way. It has to be this way in order for us to receive that spiritual power. All right. So this is why, again, it says, "Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in Yahweh." Because again, just the same way that, like I said, the Lord tapped into the mind of King David, and he pretty much programmed him to be able to act out certain things, all right, and perform these incredible works. It's going to be the same thing for the men of the Lord during that time. He's going to tap into the minds of the men of the Lord, all right. He's going to program them to be able to, act out certain things. All right. Because, for one thing, man, it's already there. It's already in us. All right. We just, we just can't access that part. If it makes sense, we just can't access that spiritual power. And, like I said, it takes the Lord to do that. All right. And that's what's going to happen, in that time. All right. Because the scriptures talk about in 2 Ezra 16th chapter, it's going to be made known who the men of the Lord are in that day. All right. But just some more precepts going into how bring this out real quick. Revelations 12 and 9. It says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." All right. And this isn't talking about some red spiritual demon being cast out of hell, being cast out of heaven with his demon angels. This is not what it's talking about. All right. Because just like I read in Wisdom of Solomon, all right, where it talks about us being the children of the Most High, all right, we're the physical manifestation of Yahweh Shemel Shai, all right. They're the physical manifestation of Esau. They're the physical manifestation. Esau is a physical manifestation of Satan, all right. They are the children of Satan, all right. And again, you're going to have this big war, because when you read in the history in Genesis, because our forefather Jacob supplanted these Edomites, their forefather Esau, twice out of the blessing. All right. And Esau vowed in his heart that he would pay back. He would pay Jacob back. All right. And this is why, throughout time, you always see how these Edomites dealt with Jake. All right. Edomite cops killing Jake. This is why. All right. This it's a form of that payback. All right. That perpetual hatred. But nevertheless, all right, the hell that they're about to unleash on Jake in this time during Jacob's trouble, all right, this is when they're really going to fulfill that promise. All right, towards the 2/3, because it's already written that the elect, they're going to be all right, they're going to be delivered. But nevertheless, this is the battle that is going into. This is the fight that it's talking about. All right, Satan's angels and Slake. But yeah, basically Satan's angels and the children of the Most High. All right. Basically basically righteous against wickedness, good against evil. All right. Okay, so verse 7. I think that's what I wanted. Verse 7, it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. All right. Because again, that great war in heaven, all right, is going to take place. But again, more so it's going to start more so on this side when all hell's breaking loose. All right. And again, when with certain of the elect, they get the spiritual power and they're, tearing Esau's ass up and tearing these kingdoms up. All right. Because that's what's going to take place. The men of the Lord, man, they're going to be ripping these kingdoms a new one, man. Let me get this in Jeremiah 51:20. It says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. All right. And then again, how is he going to do that? How is the Lord going to use? Because when you read up in this chapter, all right, he's talking about Jacob. All right. And again, how is the Lord going to use his saints to tear these kingdoms apart? Through spiritual power. All right. Verse 21 says, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the old and the maid. All right, so, basically, man, because, you're going to get 2/3 just getting jacked up too by the men of the Lord. All right, some of their judgment is going to be judgment. It's going to be judgment ultimately in the form of Yahweh Shem Shai, but it's going to be used in the form of the men of some of the men of the Lord with the spiritual power. All right, because again, the men of the Lord, they're going to be doing incredible things, man. They're going to be tearing through buildings, all right, flying through buildings and picking tanks up, throwing tanks, tossing them like they're nothing. We're going to be real life Supermans out here, all right, tearing shit up, man, causing havoc, all right, because again, the Lord's going to use his men to execute judgment, all right. And again, the elites, they know this, and this is why they're preparing. They're getting ready. This is why you have stuff like this about super soldiers. All right. They're trying to match that on the left hand, but again, it's not going to be of any travail. It's going to be it's going to be an unfair fight, And again, this is what's necessary. This is what's needed for that spiritual power to come. All right. Because again, man, best believe, man, Esau, man, they've got stuff, man. They really do have stuff that we can't fathom. We can't begin to imagine. All right. And like I said, man, it only makes sense. The Lord, giving a certain of his men spiritual powers, because that's how bad it's going to get. All right. Because let's just say hypothetically, the Lord didn't, lift up that standard. These devils, they'd win, man. They take us all out. All right. Like I said, man, we're a worm compared to Esau and what they've got. All right, the stuff that they got, it's far out there, So let me get this. Micah chapter 5 and verse 8, it says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles. And that remnant, all right, again, is going into the elect. All right. In the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep. Who, if he go through both, treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. So you see, because again, the Lord's going to use his men to tear these nations up. He's going to use his men to tear shit up, like a young lion, like a lion in his prime, in a field full of just helpless sheep, man. You can imagine what that lion will do to those sheep, tear them up. And that's exactly what the men of the Lord, through spiritual power, that's what they're going to do to these nations, to these, these kingdoms, tearing and ripping through buildings, tearing down metal and steel doors like they're nothing. All right. Picking up buses, picking up cars and using them as boxing gloves, like that, going back to the movie, The Incredible Hulk. All right. With the scene where the Hulk, he smashed a cop car and picked it up and started using them as boxing gloves. That's what the men of the Lord are going to be doing, stuff like that with ease. All right. Flying through the skies and ripping through helicopters and stuff, man. Grabbing helicopters by the tail and swinging them, using them as bats to tear down other aircraft and stuff. The men of the Lord are going to be doing stuff like that. They're going to be tearing shit up. All right. Laser beams and all type of stuff, man. Men of the Lord, man, they're going to be able to teleport. manipulate the elements, do all type of stuff, man. Disappear, reappear, do all type of stuff, man. All right, this is what's coming to those that hold on to the faith. You know? So let's talk about super soldiers and things of that nature. All right, this is what Esau, this is what they're preparing for and getting ready for. The men of the Lord. Because we're gonna, Lord's will, you know, I'm of that number, man. But this is what's in store, man. Spiritual power coming to the men of the Lord. You know. So hopefully this was uplifting. Hopefully it was edifying. Once again, I'm going to give all credit to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Lord's will, I say shalom.